Travis Wingutzel. Time for my afternoon nap. But we'll do one more video for you. Kirtland Temple, section 110, is proof destroying the spiritual witness of Mormons that the Christ of Joseph Smith is not non-Trinitarian Jesus. No, not Trinitarian either. It's the learning of the Jews. So, the Kirtland Temple was dedicated on the 27th of March, even though it looked an awful lot like the 17th of March. But the historical documents confirm that it was the 27th, I guess. 1836. And so, this vision is on April 3rd, 1836. Have to emphasize vision because it's not literal history. It did not happen. Joseph is again following the same pattern that he will, in the future, in 2 more years, write his history visionary accounts. And there's a reason why he does visions rather than talk about a non-Trinitarian deity. We'll come back to that because we got to go to Numbers chapter 12. Yeah, verse 6. This is the coup of Moses by his brethren and sistren, in which Aaron and Miriam have had enough with Moses. They think they know better. They think they're more intelligent. They think they know how to run the church. And so they're going to replace Moses because, he had that Ethiopian wife before Jethro's daughter. First one. And so they're upset with him. And so the Lord himself, Yahweh, comes down in a pillar of a cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both came forth. What hast thou been doing here? We have been doing that which has been done on other worlds. Hear now my words. If there be a prophet, and he uses vision, so it's seer, among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. Hey, just like Joseph of Egypt, who is the man like Moses. So yes, that's the law of the Jews, a man like Moses, written by the finger of God. Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 10, talking about the 10 Commandments. Alrighty. Learning of the Jews. And so, April 3rd, 1836, is the 3rd day of the Jewish holy day of Passover of Moses going to Egypt. Let my Mormons go. Pharaoh said no. And then total chaos, mass hysteria, dogs and cats living together. All hell's breaking loose. So this is the context. Joseph Smith, 1836, is still clinging to a Jewish Christ. and a Jewish religion. Not the modern day Jews, the pre-captivity Jews of the house of Israel of Egypt. I saw the Russian script on Wikipedia has corrected their origin source. You're welcome, guys. They got it from me. They were trying to learn Paleo-Hebrew to try to learn their Russian. You could have just asked me you wanted me to decipher your Russian alphabet for you. I would have done that. That was easy. But no, they got to be secretive and sneaky and steal. And apparently, anyway. But yeah, it's now, instead of through Semitic, it's now through Egyptian. Greek comes from Egyptian, through Phoenician. Because traditionally, and still I can find on Amazon that people are still publishing books that Phoenician comes from Semitic Babylon, Assyria, rather than from Egyptian. And so I am the decipherer of Paleo-Hebrew, and thus the Russians have corrected their origin of their script back to Egypt rather than to Babylon. So isn't that cool? Mormons don't believe. They're stuck on non-Trinitarian Jesus with the new name of the church by Russell Marion Nelson, the Church of Non-Trinitarian Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Say the full name. I am a member of the Church of Non-Trinitarian Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Spell it out. All the titles of your videos must include the full name of the church now. No abbreviations. Non-Trinitarian Jesus Christ is angry. So wouldn't you want to be a Jewish anyway? It's far easier. Far more laid back and relaxed. He likes to make jokes about things. And so, Passover, the latter days, man like Moses. This is what Joseph Smith is doing. He's teaching you. And so, skip Bruce R. McConkie. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And so, he's telling you, it's a vision. It didn't really happen. These are not non-Trinitarian characters. And so, he sees the Lord standing upon the breastwork of the pulpit before us. And under his feet were a paved work of pure gold plates, Egyptian gold plates, in color like amber. His eyes were as the sun at noonday. Flames of fire. The hair of his head was white like pure snow, and countenance shone above the brightness of the sun. How did I know? Emmanuel. And the voice was as the sound of the rushing gray waters. So yeah, all of these guys are Emmanuel. Just spoiler alert. Even the voice of Jehovah, saying, I am Alpha and Tau. I am he who liveth. I am he who was slain. I am your advocate with the Father, Father Amen. And so, yeah, this is what's being revealed here by Joseph Smith. Jehovah is not Jesus. Joshua is Jesus. There is no Joshua here. This is Jehovah. You got to go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 4 to find the first instance of Jehovah. We'll do that. We'll just go back and forth. Just have a little fun since I'm tired and cranky, needing a nap. And so these are the mortal seed mortal egg, fruit of heaven and earth. That's strange. I didn't know heaven and earth was human. Well, you don't know Egyptian. Nut and Geb, or as they name them here, Lila and Adam. And I don't know why the author of the biblical Hebrew text changed it to Eve. She doesn't exist anywhere in any ancient document. So many problems by putting in the wrong name. And so, in the day that Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heavens. And so then you get dumbasses who claim to be scholars who say that this is the documentary hypothesis and that Genesis chapter 2 is the Yahwist source rather than the Elohist source of the first chapter. Oh, God. They're from the same Egyptian document, you dumbasses. The Heliopolis creation glyph. Nut. Geb. Shoo. Naughty kids. Separate you two. Waters from waters. Dry land appear. That's where it all comes from. And so yes, Moses. What does he do? Parts the waters from the waters, passing through on dry ground. Exactly like this creation glyph here. And so, since it's the exact same text from the Egyptians, what's going on? Why is there a different name for the God of the Jews? Well, did you not read the rest of the book of Genesis? Stay away from Nelson. He botched it bigly at the pulpit of conference. See, they have babies that are born, and they're given names. And in the context of the name of the baby is the meaning of the name of the baby. And guess what? Those babies grow up, and in the story context, they fulfill the baby name meaning. And then, after fulfilling the baby name meaning, they get a new name. And so, yes, this is what we see here. Genesis chapter 1, Yah is the God, not Elohim. Dear God, how did they botch that? Joseph Smith was right. And they thought it too bad to put the head God. So they put Elohim in singular form as plural. Or plural form as singular. Oh, what a fiasco. You were told not to tamper with the text. And so, Yah is the name of the Hebrew God. There's a reason why, because it has to do with the creation story of the context. It's a Z shape in Paleo-Hebrew. Top line is for heaven, bottom line is for earth, the middle line is for Shu, the father, trying to separate his kids from having sex, but oops, too late. She's pregnant with 5 kids. Gotta keep them separated. Could that be the theme song? Yeah, we'll do that. Keep them separated. For Kirtland Temple. Keep them separated. Because this all has to do with the temple. Creation story, everything. And they all circumscribe with the correct definition. Not the church's definition in the temple. Oh dear God, how'd they botch that one? Circumference, scribe, writing. All writing relates to each other. And so, after completing the creation story, Yah which is pictorially the same as Zeus. You're going, but there's the us at the end. Yeah, it's Greek. It's grammatical termination for masculine singular. So you can cut that off, and there you have Zah, which is the Hebrew Yah. And it's not Yah, it's Zah. Because everybody's botching it, not going to the origin. And so it becomes Yahweh, Jehovah, Lord. And you got to be careful, because sometimes Lord is Adonai if it doesn't have God next to it. For example, in Amos 3:7, surely the Lord God, oops, I before E except after C in this case. It's Adonai Elohim. Or is it Yahweh? Hold on. I think it's Adonai Yahweh. Blue Letter Bible. This will be the quickest way to get to it. Amos 3. And then Westminster Leningrad Codex. And we scroll down to 7. Adonai Yahweh, yeah. I before E except after C. And that's the Aten of the Egyptians. Sigmund Freud got it right. He was just too ashamed as a Jew to believe that the Jews came from Egypt, which they did. But after being taken captive into Babylon, they indoctrinated them through torture techniques to claim that Babylon was their fatherland, not Egypt. And so with the confusion over Exodus, thinking it's literal history rather than the prophecy of the man like Moses Christ of the Jews for the latter days, they hate Egypt with a passion. And so that's Jehovah that appears to Joseph Smith. The Creator God. The new name. Alrighty. Now we'll go back. And so yes, he's the one that accepts the temple. To build the temple in his name, Yahweh, rather than Emmanuel, the sun god at noonday. After the name of the priesthood, which, don't frequently repeat it, like that great and abominable church of non-Trinitarian Jesus that the false Christ of prophet of that church says that we have to frequently repeat the name over and over again and spell it out. And now it's changed that you have to include non-Trinitarian in the full name. Alright. So now do you understand why he accepts the temple? Just got dedicated, just built, ready to go. Boom, the Creator Jesus. Christ. We're getting to Jesus. He's next, I think. Or no, Moses is next. Then Jesus. And so, that vision closed. And then he gets the keys of the gathering of Israel. So, that's missionary work, right? It's not the keys of the kingdom like Peter, James, and John had. Right? This is from Moses. And so in case you're unfamiliar with who Moses is to the Jews, he's the Christ. Thus, the same as the man like Moses. Section 107, verse 91 and 92. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to be like unto Moses, not Peter. The keys of the gathering is the keys of Moses, who is the Christ of the Jews, who, the man like Moses, is the future Christ of the Jews. And Joseph Smith gets the keys from Moses to be what? The man like Moses. Joseph Smith is now the Christ, to be a seer, a revelator, translator, and prophet. And so then we go to Joseph Smith history. Verse 1. Chapter 1. What are you guys doing? Verse 40. He quoted also the 3rd chapter of Acts. Who did? Oh, that Malachi, who said his name was Nephi, because you went to the Joseph Smith papers, right? And said, and it was described as the sun at noonday, Emmanuel. And so he's saying, go to the 3rd chapter of Acts, 22nd and 23rd verses, because I'm doing prophecies of the Old Testament. Precisely as it stands in our New Testament. He said that prophet, the man like Moses, Deuteronomy 18, was Christ, learning of the Jews. But the day hadn't come when Mormons who won't hear his voice in the latter days will be utterly destroyed by the abomination of desolation. And so, then one more. Doctrine and Covenants, section 103, verses 15 and 16. Behold, the redemption of Zion must needs come by power. Therefore, I will raise up. Hey, Deuteronomy. This is the man like Moses. How do we know? Because he says, unto the Mormons, a man who shall lead Mormons like as Moses led the children of Israel. Because Mormons will be in bondage in the future to the great and abominable church and must needs be led out with a stretched out arm. As your fathers were led at first, even so shall the redemption of Zion be, unless Mormons refuse to believe and hearken and are utterly destroyed. Isn't that great? Okay, so that was Moses. The man like Moses is Emmanuel. So we have Jehovah, Emmanuel. We have Moses, Emmanuel. Now we have Elishua. This is a typing error. How do I know this? Because the keys of the dispensation of the gospel of Abraham were given. So, where do we find out about Abraham? The book of Abraham. And in the book of Abraham, the gospel is the gospel of salvation. Shua, 9 in Hebrew. 99 on 9/9, this Saturday only. A big event, and in the Jewish calendar, it's 9/11, when 9/11 occurred in 2001. And so this isn't Elias, it's Elishua. And instead of Yah for Joshua, Jesus, instead it's El Shua, for God, Shua, God of salvation. It is Yah, it's also others, but it's the Canaanite deity in this particular case. El, in the singular. And so El Yah is Elijah, and he's next. And so, yes, Elijah. And so Elishua and Elijah are from the book of Kings. And even though they may be also in Samuel is actually Kings. Because we can check. We have that technology. We have the capability of building the first bionic man. Elijah. Yeah, 1 Kings is where he first appears, so it's 3 Kings technically. 3 Nephi. Because Nephi is a king. And thus is the one who appears to Joseph Smith and also gives him the keys of making the fulfillment of the stick of Judah merged with the stick of Joseph. So you're looking for him too, Mormons. Not just prophet, seer, revelator, and translator, but translator is how he's able to do it. Academia.edu. There it is. And so this is also from Malachi, day that shall burn as an oven, which has to do with Moses, who warns Mormons in the latter days, hey, here I am, get out of the church, flee Babylon, both, not just one, not just go, yeah, the Mormon church, yeah, I'm sitting on my couch eating popcorn, watching. You'll be burning for staying in Utah. That's the frustrating thing, is that people who have left the church, they don't want any more to do with the church, and so they don't believe Joseph Smith. So they're definitely not going to listen to the Christ who's telling them, yeah, great, you left the church, but they're going to murder you now. So that's incredibly frustrating. Kind of makes one want to be like Jonah and just go on vacation in the belly of a whale, because the Nineveh Utahns don't want to listen. And so this turning of the hearts is not about doing genealogy work and paying the extortion price to save them. How could you be so fooled? No, this is in the learning of the Jews. What did he talk about in Malachi? The day that shall burn as an oven. And so the coming of the God Yah is the man like Moses, Emmanuel. He's going to save whoever listens. And if you don't listen, you're not going to be saved. Like that Mormon this morning, was it Kelly or whatever her name was, who had her thumbnail picture with her granddaughter most likely? You know, she has cut herself off. She's stubborn and will stay in Utah, believing in non-Trinitarian idol God Jesus, with his statue on her shelving so that she can worship it. And it's not just her that the church is going to murder. They're also going to murder her beautiful little baby girl that she was posing with. That's what this is trying to talk about. Fathers to the children, children to the fathers, lest the whole earth be utterly destroyed. The human race is in jeopardy of extinction. We need humans who want to preserve the human race. And yet we got all these white supremacists who want death to humans. Humans will not replace us. So, there you go. This is the beginning of the end. The day that shall burn as an oven. And all the keys for that. So, yeah, you don't get that lesson from the Church of Non-Trinitarian Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, do you?